So what do you think those white feathers meant?
That God was showing me that my angels were protecting me. The same angels that when I was 6 and terrified under my covers and praying, there were probably signs then, but as a 6-year-old, I didn't see them. But then I would see them in my 20s. I would see them in the form of ladybugs. And my angels were saying, these are part of our wings, and we got you. You're protected.
If you could go back today and speak to that 39-year-old self, what would you say?
I would say buckle up. I would say it's going to be a long few years. But it will all make sense. It'll all be connected. You'll find what you're looking for. And even when you found it, like, you're going to keep losing it. But you know how to get back there. So once you find that, go back to that. Go back to what brings you that peace. Go back to go back to what makes you not feel so lost.
How are you applying that lesson to your daily life today?
Trying my hardest personally to do that. So when I'm at a place that I feel that, connecting back to what brings that to me, and then bringing everyone I can, friends, coworkers, bringing them to what I found brought me peace. And usually it's meditation classes, it's Reiki, it's just trying to inspire them and just wanting to share that with even strangers, anybody I know. Because when you feel that, like I said, when you have lost that inner peace that you can't find, you feel like you've lost a part of yourself. And I don't want anybody to feel that way.
Yeah. So the first time you had a passion to do something, what was that? First job, maybe?
I think one of my first jobs, I was a shampoo girl in high school and college. And it was just supposed to be a summer job, and then I stayed for 10 years, all through college, even when I got my first job at a TV station in communications. And I just loved it. I loved, it was mostly women, but connecting with those women, having talks, that's your time when you're happy and it's some you time. And I think even back then, just feeling so happy for them, feeling happy when they loved how they looked afterwards and felt joy. I love when people are happy. I love when they feel lit up. I love when they feel happy.
So you mentioned TV and communications. Does that translate at all into that world for you?
Translate into what world?
Into the communications and the PR world in terms of the inner light and the truth and...
Yeah, I think a little bit. I don't know, I think in TV, I was always behind the scenes, and my job was getting the message and getting the news out to the public. And now in public relations, it's a lot of the same. It's getting people's messages out to be seen, to be heard.
So if there was one thing that you could do over and over again, if one thing you had to do over and over again, like Groundhog Day,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, regardless of whether your paycheck was tied to it or not, what would you pay to do?
I think I would want to have a client and maybe go through and help them find what they're looking for, mind, body, and soul. Having discussions, bringing them to a place where they feel peaceful, maybe going through meditation, talking about nourishment and eating so you feel, the best that you can. Maybe guiding them through that, whether it's a day, whether it's a 2-week process. Guiding them at the end of it to just feel the best they can feel, mind, body, and soul.
And what do you think your biggest accomplishment? So if you were to look back at your life, what's your biggest accomplishment so far? In terms of self-satisfaction, right? Not to the outside world.
I think it's getting to a place where I trust. So trusting, if a certain job that you're interviewing for, instead of feeling that huge letdown, feeling, okay, that wasn't meant to be. Things with infertility and adoption fall-throughs, that wasn't our baby. That wasn't meant to work. And so finally getting to a place where I'm trusting. Not all the time, but getting there.
So talk to us a little bit about your 3 words of your meaning of life. What are your 3 words?
I wanted to say listen to your soul, but that's 4, and I know we're going to be a stickler. I would say live your truth. Going back to listen to your soul. So whatever your truth is, like it's that gut feeling, it's your intuition. And if there's certain places you're drawn to, do that. If it's a certain job, if it's certain people, and then speaking it. Like this isn't easy. And I'm very guarded with who I tell certain things to. And I used to always preface things with, I know this sounds crazy. And people, close to me would say, stop saying that. Like, stop saying, I know this sounds crazy. Because it's hard to speak your truth. And it's hard to say, I saw a feather. I think it's my angels talking to me. That's hard to share that. But the more you share it with people, the more people say, oh, I see signs, or I felt that, or thank you for sharing that. Like I'll have random people on social media message me and say, I feel that same way. I'm so glad you shared that. So I would say live your truth.
Have you ever been in a circumstance, whether it's work or a personal life, where you had to help or represent somebody that wasn't speaking their truth?
I don't think so. I think maybe it was all in truth, but maybe like pushing them to be a little bit more genuine and authentic about it. So maybe not, in public relations, maybe not as scripted. I write speeches for a handful of people. And sometimes I'll say, I'm not writing you a speech. Like, I'll give you the factual information and the bullet points, but speak from your heart. You know the background. And speak to, from your heart, speak to them and not from a piece of paper.
So you do apply that to other areas? Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Yes. So when I met Stacy and Dan, they were telling me about this, and I'm always everybody's biggest cheerleader. I love the site. I'd reach out to you, or you reach out to me, and then I reached out to you. Tell me more. I would love to help you. Let me share that. Like, I loved your purpose and why you did this. And to read, I think your email was, I don't care what you do, what's your why? And that just really resonated with me. So first I talked to you, and then I had met with Stacy, and they were both like, you should go through the proof. Oh, no, I'm not doing that. Like I went to school for communications, hated to be an intern. I had to record things. I worked in TV for 15 years. I'd hold the microphone, but like safely away from the camera. Like I don't want to be on the camera. In public relations, I'll write the speech. I'm not doing it. I'll take your picture. I don't want to be in it. So the whole idea on camera, on stage, I'm not doing that. And then I felt really unworthy. Like, no, you're talking to like thought leaders and entrepreneurs, and I don't have a business, and there's nothing. I didn't feel worthy. And then you both encouraged me. And Stacy, we had coffee, and she said, do something out of your comfort zone. Like, do this. And I'm like, all right. So in my head, I'm like, I'm going to go through the the coaching, the discovery process, and I'm not really sure I'm going to do this. And I'm so glad I did.
Oh, you did amazing.
Thank you.